this nice cup of tea, nice and hot. Not actually very strong. I thought it was stronger than it is. It's quite weak looking. Look at it. Ah! And now I've spilt it all over my leg. That was a bad mistake. It's made with almond milk, so it's milky tea with almondy milk. Mmm. I spilt it all over the place because I was trying to get ready and everything went flying. All the stuff that I made last week fell off the table. Do you remember this last week? It's a sort of clanger elephant. It doesn't show up because the light's all blown out here. You can't really see what's going on with that, can you? Yeah, that's rubbish. And this didn't break. It didn't break. It fell, but it did not break. So I haven't painted those yet. I could paint those. Maybe I'll paint them live on air. Or maybe not. Nobody's here. Nobody cares. But yeah, so I'll just drink some more tea and wait. Although, of course, when people come to see it after the live, they'll be, what's she waiting for? I'm here already. All the millions of people that are no doubt clamouring. Hello, one person's come to see me. Yay. This is a weird way to make this. This is how you usually drink a cup of tea, is it? Yes, it's a big cup, so it is how it's very hot. And I scolded myself. Hello, Philip. Yes, hello, people. All the people. 2 people. As well as Philip, there's somebody else. Ooh. It says try to keep the chat nice and civil as per community guidelines. I'm sure we'll manage that. I'm sure it'll be amazing chat. So what's everybody been up to this week? I'm all all done 2 times. Yay. So I'm in 3 weeks' time be all ready to go out into the outside world. I actually went into the outside world to get that done, obviously. And I went to 3 shops because I was trying to find bananas and I could not find bananas so one shop didn't have bananas. It was a fruit and vegetable shop. It specifically said Finchley Fruit and Veg. Could I find any bananas? No. Had lots of other things I could have bought. They had little tiny things that were apple bananas. So I suppose they did have bananas. But I said, do you have any normal bananas? They're like, bananas? Yeah. Bananas? Yeah. Bananas? Yeah. No. But they did have dried bananas as well. So I got banana chips, but not bananas. So I suppose they did have bananas, just not the bananas I was looking for. And then I went to another one and they charged me £1.97 for 5 bananas, which is too much for 5 bananas. So then, because I was getting them for somebody else, I had to go somewhere else. And then I got them somewhere else. And they were half the price for twice as many bananas. I was like, oh, hello. So now I've got bananas. I don't usually eat bananas. I try to keep away from the carb of the bananas. But I suppose they've got potassium. That's good. Potassium-y bananas. This is a bit high, isn't it? I'm all chin. Yes, so how's everybody been? Have you had a lovely time? Done anything exciting? I went outside, like I said. I went outside and I had an adventure. It was an adventure. More things happened that I won't go into, but I did put it on my Facebook page, so it's not invisible to human eyes. People who follow me on Facebook can see what I said about that. But hello, Old School Gaming. Hello, Spinach66. Hello, Philip Story. Hello, anyone else that has joined me. Hello. Yes, did you see my elephant thing? It's hideous, isn't it? Hideous! Maybe if I paint it, it'll be a bit less hideous. I suppose I could sand it down and make it... It's a finger puppet. A finger puppet of what? Yeah, so yesterday, I spent the whole of Saturday writing about Loki from the Norse myths. Because I have done 3 scripts for Spooky History, which is a channel that you can find on the YouTube. But they've only made one of the ones that I've so far. They only made the Roman Ghosts of York, but I made one about the Puka, and I also made one yesterday about Loki. So they are still to come, hopefully, unless they're so rubbish that they decide not to use them. That's fine, whatever. It took some time doing them. I worked hard, but I suppose it kept me occupied. Keep me occupied? No. See, that's why they don't use me. I say keep me occupied instead of kept. I use the wrong words. It's all over the place. I'm out of practice with writing. I used to do it completely for a living. That was my job, writing articles. And then I've written books and I've written poems and I've written blogs, I've written all sorts. And then you get out of practice and you're like, words? What are words? Words? Where? And that's what it's like. And that's what it was like yesterday. I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. I was like, oh, it's in present tense, it's in past tense, it's in future tense, it's in all the... Is it in first person or in third person or in second person? I don't know. What are words? But I got into the flow of it eventually. And then I finished it and somebody said, what about the story of Loki that did this and he did this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't put that in. So I had to rewrite it all over again and put things in. Special requests. He got up to some things. He got up to, well, things. Everyone got up to things in Norse times because things were a thing. You had a thing every time you needed a big thing. A thing is a thing. A thing is a thing in Norse times. Not just a thing, it's a thing. Do you want to get something sorted? Have a thing. Yeah, a big old blowout of a thing. Anyway, that's beside the point. And yes, and Loki did like to talk at the things and skalds, which were like big old roasts. Like a roast. Yes, the thing was a ruling body. I know what it is. Yes, if I am aware. It was a ruling body. You'd have a great big party. You'd have it out at the thing. A ruling body, but it's a meeting as well. It was specifically a meeting of the ruling body to sort things out. Thrash them out at the thing. But I just went down a whole rabbit hole there. What was I saying? Anyway, something. Thing. It's one of those words. It's like, that's in the naughty list of words. Anyway, scald was very much like a roast, as I was saying, if you've seen RuPaul's Drag Race or roasting comedians or anything like that. Hello, Scotty. So, yeah, you just say really mean things about your friends. But, the trouble is, Loki went too far. Very much like Utica in the last series of RuPaul's Drag Race, and off they went. That's enough. Utica got chained to a rock for all eternity. Oh no, that was Loki, not Utica. But it might have been, maybe Utica is Loki. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Well, go watch RuPaul's Drag Race, the last series of the American one, not the British one because that's a different one, and not the Canadian one because that's a different one, and not the Down Under one because that's a different one, and not the Holland one or the Spain one because that's a different one. There's a lot of them. Basically, they're all over the place. But that specific one. Oh! All over the place this morning. And then I'm working tomorrow. Back to work. Not that I haven't been working, as I said, working hard, writing. Right. This is me writing. That's probably why I'm not very successful at it anymore. Keys. What keys? Yeah. So, talking of which, I just found this key. I have no idea what it's for. It just fell out of a box. I'm like, I emptied the box. It was like, these fell out. These keys. I've absolutely no idea what they're for. I have been reading a lot of things online about secret rooms in different places. And I'm like, oh, I'd like a place that has a secret room. But I haven't got a place. I mean, this is it's like a secret room, really, this place. It's like, what's in there? I don't know. We daren't go in there. But I found these keys, which I think are probably suitcase keys. But I don't know, because I don't have a suitcase that goes with these. All my suitcases are broken. I did have a suitcase a couple of years ago that I used once. I bought it from Pound Stretchers. Yeah, not Pound Stretchers. It's a sort of subsidiary of Pound Stretchers in Pontypool. My dad bought it for me. It was £30, a big, huge suitcase, and I brought it back to London. And the second I got off the coach, I was like, this is getting really hard to drag. And about a minute in, it was like, it's really hard to drag. It got harder and harder and harder. And then when I got home, I noticed that the wheels had melted because it was a big suitcase, and I filled the suitcase because it's a big suitcase nice. Obviously you fill it with things, but the wheels had melted and they fell off. Well, they're still on it, but they're melted, so it was completely useless. So one time, that's not a bargain. You know, maybe if I'd spent more money, I would have got more use out of it. But you think for that much money, even if it's a cheap suitcase, you were an elephant in a school play once, were you, Scotty? That's good. Time travelling. Oh. Hello. Well, spillage. Oh, the thing is, I think that might have gone. I will look at it, because if you sent me a message and you're not a Facebook friend with me, it's probably gone into my spam folder, my other messages, which I tend not to check for years at a time. And then I check it and go, oh, that might have been quite important. Never mind. So that's probably what's happened there. So I will now that you've alerted me to it, and I know what it's there for. Getting warm in here. Whew. Yeah, I will now. Oh, gardening. That's what I've done today, because my garden, it's not my garden, but the garden is in a mess. I spent some time trying to clean it up a couple of years ago, but now, I will spread it, but now it's a complete mess. And I noticed that there were lots of trees, like thin trees, spindly trees, about that high from the ground. I'm sitting down, so it's not really, it is a big mug. About that high from the ground with big spikes in them, and they're hawthorns. I knew they were hawthorns. So I said to my flatmate, Ollie, I said, I'm not going to do that. There's too many little trees. Your garden, you should sort that out. You're the landlord, sort that out. And he's like, what trees? I can't see any trees. It's like, no, because there's a big tree that's fallen in the way of the trees. You can't see the trees for the trees. You literally can't see the wood for the trees. Literally. Not figuratively, literally. So today he went, all right, I've done it. And I looked out, it's like, nah, you did about 4. There's 104 at least. So he went on doing a little bit and he was like, no, it's too much. And then he went in and I did some more. And I cut down loads of spindly trees. Massive. I didn't cut the big tree that fell down. I thought it was an apple tree, but I realise now that it's a hawthorn tree, and they were everywhere. And there's brambles. It's like Sleeping Beauty's castle out there. It's terrible. So I spent ages doing that, and then I was absolutely exhausted. So I had a lovely bath with bath salts in it, and now I'm just like, I'm still exhausted. I was just like, couldn't move for a while. I was just like lying there, like a dead zombie. A zombie's dead. Zombies are alive. Like just sort of like. And now I'm still a little bit tired. I was like, I'm over it. It's like, no, I'm not. What have I been doing today? I'm completely exhausted from doing all the gardening and cutting down trees. I cut down lots of trees, which is probably less impressive than it sounds, because as I said, they're all spindly. That's how thick the stems were, which is good, because if they got any thicker than that, then I couldn't cut them down. I was just chop, cutting them all down. But then they're just sort of lying there, because there's so many brambles and so many thorns that there's just like, it's more like a fence of thorns. It's like they've just stayed, you could, without gloves, you can't really pick them up. You get all spines and thorns in you. So we just sort of left them where they are, and they've just sort of built up into a sort of wicker basket effect. So the whole garden was like a big spiky wicker basket, so it probably isn't. I was just going a little bit further and I saw something moving in the undergrowth, and I'm not sure whether it was a mouse or a rat or a frog or a toad, because the pond's still there underneath all the undergrowth. And the reeds too. I put reeds in order to try and make the pond nice and clean and lovely. And the reeds have just, because the trouble with reeds is they've got like grassy bits on them, and every time I was cutting the tree I could see the pollen and the seeds and everything coming out of these reeds. So the reeds are going to be all over the garden. They already are. It was just very frustrating. I cut down a few, and I cut down a few brambles. It was so hard to do, and I was so tired, and I'm still not really over it. I thought I was, but I'm not. Oh, and also, a friend of mine from a long time back, from college days, put one of those, if you've got any happy memories of me, let me know in the comments. And somebody said, oh, I remember you coming to my party dressed as Kate Bush to him. And I said, oh, I remember that time, because I've written a poem about that. It's because you were in a talent show. And he's like, oh, let me see the poem. And I'm like, oh, no. So the poem that I wrote many years ago about a college friend dressed as Kate Bush, you might have seen it. It's in my book, Little Circus. available at all good bookshops and Amazon and Barnes and Noble and anywhere really. Yeah, so he's like, oh, I'd like to see that photo. And I'm like, oh no, it's not very flattering. But I put it up and I got a little heart from him and the person whose party he'd gone to. And so that's fine. It's okay. I had a massive crush on him at the time. Actually, I didn't say that to him because that's not in the poem, but the original one did mention the massive crush I had on him. But it's a long time ago and that wasn't in the poem anymore. It wasn't a flattering poem though. Yeah. Anyway, it's a good poem. I think it's a good poem because it's my poem. And you have to big yourself up sometimes, don't you? Anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Embarrassing myself, cutting down trees, writing spooky history about Norse gods. I've actually had quite a busy weekend. I thought I've done nothing this weekend. Nothing. And I'm like, oh, hang on. I have done things. Invisible things that I've forgotten about, because mostly I'm playing like little games on my phone. That's mostly what I do, like that. I'm using both I don't use my thumbs. I'm like that really. that's millennial thing. That's how millennials use their phone. This is how I use my phone. Like, all my fingers get in because I'm an old person. The oldest Minnelli. I'm the oldest Liza Minnelli. La 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 la. I'm Liza Minnelli. Me. I'm not Liza Minnelli. Or am I? Yeah. So that was fun. Oh, and what else did I find out since I've seen you last? Oh, yes. About the king. I found out that, because I've been doing family history for ages, I might have mentioned it, I think I've definitely had. I found, when I was looking through the family tree and everything, that there was an ancient king. I found somebody called Elise. I was like, who Elise? And I found it wasn't a woman, it was an ancient king called Elise. Elise, but Elise for short. And there's actually a massive stone pillar in mid Wales, north of Powys, so it's sort of North Mid Wales, called but they spelt it wrong, they put a G on the end, so it's the Pillar of Elise, or the Pillar of Elise Egg. Elise Egg. Yeah. But it's the Pillar of Elise. And then I found that this Elise, who's got a pillar, was possibly my 31st great-grandfather. So I am going to tell everybody that I'm named after my 31st great-grandfather, who was the King of Powys, and which is part of Wales, not all of Wales, but quite a bit of Wales. King of Wales, that's who I'm named after, and I've got a pillar called the Pillar of Elise that I'm going to visit as soon as all of this nonsense is over. I'm going to go there. I'm going to maybe I'll hire a car. I haven't actually driven for quite a long time. Can't remember how to drive. Maybe I'll just drive a car all the way to my Pillar of Elise. And it did have inscriptions on it, but apparently they've all worn off. So I can just I'm not going to put new ones on it, but I can just imagine what they say. They say, yes, Elise, this is your stone. The sword in the stone. You don't need a sword in the stone to proclaim you the rightful ruler of Wales and all that you survey. It's the Pillar of Elise. Of course it's my pillar. Yes. Oh, yeah. Trevor Griffith. Yes. Well done. Yes, that's true. Did Great Britain conquer Wales? Well, Great Britain didn't conquer Wales because Great Britain didn't exist back when the English conquered Wales. Because actually most of England was Wales at one point. The Cymraeg they were all the way, back. There was the Lloegr was the north, and then you got the Cerwayns, whatever they're called, the Cornish people on the one side. This is not a very accurate map of it, but as you can imagine, the Cornish were on the one side, Lloegr, English were on the other side, the Saxons that came over, incomers. It's like 2,000 years nearly, so incomers. I've got Saxon genes in my, according to my DNA, but mostly Welsh genes, mostly. Yes, I've got a pair of Welsh genes. No, I've got lots of Welsh genes, like more than 70%, depending on what you look at. Between 50 and 80% of my genes are Welsh. And there's possibly, because I've also said that I've got some Mabuti from pygmy genes, and also possibly Native American and Cyprus and various other things, a little bit of English and some various European, but mostly Welsh. mostly Welsh, and a bit Scottish apparently. I don't know where the Scottish came from, but mostly Welsh, so that bears out my theory that I am the rightful ruler. So I will go to the sword, the stone, and get the sword from the stone, and look at the pillar, and then yes, it will be me. You don't need any of these other. But we just had an election here, which they've elected the same people mainly, except a few more Tories and a few less Labour, but mainly almost exactly the same as it was before. It's pretty much the same, not really any change, and Lawrence Fox did not get in. I think he might have lost his deposit. But so unfortunately did some of the other candidates, and not all of them deserved to lose their deposit, but some of them did. Little bit of politics there. Very, very stupid bit of politics, but there you are. So yeah, because I might have said I'm not a big fan of Lawrence Fox. I saw him in a play once, and he was all sort of mumbly and northern and in the corner. He's not really northern, he's very posh, and he just sort of ruined it. Arthur Darvill was in it. Arthur Darvill out of Doctor Who. Rory out of Doctor Who. And that was really who I went to see, which is good, because he was really good in it, and all the other people were really good in it. And then Lawrence Fox just happened to be in it. I'm like, oh, that's that guy. That guy with the famous dad. Is he in something? He's in Lewis, but I don't watch Lewis, but he's apparently in something. But he's rubbish. I can't hear what he's saying. I'm 4 rows back. I'm like, what did he say? There's a terrible northern accent, and I don't understand what you said at all. So maybe it's petty to not like somebody because of that, but he ruined the play. Ruined it. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I think one of the MPs said a similar thing, but I said it first because I've been saying it since I saw it. It was like 2017 or something, 2016 maybe, a long time ago, when he was still with Billy Piper, who was also in Doctor Who at a different time to Rory, and I think he was still with her at that time, yeah? I might be wrong, but it was just awful. It was horrible. It's a stupid reason for not liking somebody, but it is a reason. And I feel justified in my reason, so I'm not unhappy. There's other reasons why he probably wouldn't have been a good mayor. Many reasons, but we'll not go into that. My specific petty reason is that he was rubbish in a play. He might not have been rubbish. He was rubbish because I couldn't hear him, but I couldn't hear him enough that I was like, what are you saying? This is just whispering in the corner. So maybe he would have been amazing if it had been televised. He's close-up acting. You don't need to project for close-up acting, but you very much do in a theatre. I think if you're not going to project and you're on the stage, then you're sort of wasting everybody's time, aren't you? Yeah, but he's famous because of his dad. His dad's a good actor. And his sister's a good actor, and his cousins are good actors, and his uncle's a good actor, and his mum's a good actor, and his auntie probably is a good actor. I don't know who his auntie is. Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. So pretty much everyone in his family is a good actor. Except, there has to be an exception, doesn't there? Not everybody can be good at everything. This has just gone on a long diatribe. It's about why I didn't like a play. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. I'm sure he's really nice. Really nice. Microphones, they don't use microphones if it's a musical, then yeah, they probably will use a microphone, because otherwise you can't pick up the nuances of the songs. Because if everybody's singing, and you're not going to be heard above the chorus members and everything, really? So yeah, microphones in musicals, microphones not tend to be in, if you're doing stage shows, you're expected to project to the back of a theatre. They're specifically made for the acoustics. They're specifically made so that you're supposed to be able to hear right in the gods, up at the back of the theatre. Especially all these Victorian theatres. Yes, that's what they're for. It's so that you can hear the whole... right at the back you can hear. So you don't need a microphone if you're any good at it. But yeah, If they're virtual, yes. If they're recording it, then you will need. So if they were recording it, that's true. If they were recording this play, then they would have a microphone. But the people in the... That's more for the camera, really, isn't that? That's really not for the people in the audience. Anyway, it wasn't being recorded. That wasn't an excuse. Yeah. All right then. Yeah, I'm gonna be gracious. Lawrence Fox is amazing and great, and the reason I say that is because there's no danger in him at the moment because he didn't win the mayor, so it's fine. He can do what he wants and go on his way. If he'd become the mayor, maybe I'd have been a bit more annoyed at him, and I wouldn't be so forgiving of him messing up my play night. I went to see a play. Cost money to go and see a play. Didn't hear the words. I still enjoyed the play, despite rather than because of him. Now I was just saying I'm going to forgive him for being. He doesn't need my forgiveness. I'm sure he's great. It's not like I'm going to meet him. If he ever does meet me, or he sees this, I'm just going to say, I'm sorry, Lawrence Fox. You're great. And hope he believes me when I say that. Because I don't want him going, oh, you've caused shame and you've ruined my life by saying you didn't like me in that play. I don't really think that. It's not really libel or slander to say you didn't like somebody in a play. That's really the only thing that I've got against him. You know, all the other stuff that people are like, oh, that's really terrible, you know. Other people might have other grievances, but it's a petty one, as I say. And really, you can't be sued for a bad review. Yeah, my review, it wasn't very good. That's not something you can sue anyone over. The hole isn't getting deeper because you can't sue over a bad review, but I feel bad now that if he does, he's not going to see this, but if he does, it's nothing personal. I don't want anyone to feel bad, even if, no. Now I'm just feeling bad about being mean about somebody. I shouldn't have been mean. Should have just shut up about him. It's not his fault. He's just fallen in with a bad crowd or something on my way down. Blue. Why? I don't know. Do you know how sometimes you get in a loop of my bête noire, why? I don't really care about him enough to be angry about him. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so maybe I'll paint these things, my little hand puppet here. But look out for my little spooky histories coming up. Yeah, it's fine. You know, the only person that looks bad if you say bad things about other people is yourself. I've made Lawrence Fox look much better by being nasty about him, because me being horrible gives you more sympathy for him. So really, I've helped him. There you go. I've helped him by being mean, because now I look like a terrible person that says these horrible things about poor innocent Mr. Fox. Foxy Fox. I mean, he's not bad looking. I'll give him that. He's not great looking. No. Dig. He's alright. He's fine. There's nothing organically wrong with him. Really. But I really got annoyed this week that I got served one of the adverts of his campaign, and it was just really annoying. It was nonsense. It was. If you... you can watch it now. It might as well go viral. It's just like... He said... I think he was trying to quote Henry V. I think that's what he was trying to do, thinking about it. But he was like, will you, when you're in your bed in years to come, will you give all your life, all from this day to then, to say, I voted for Lawrence Fox? It's like, no, of course I wouldn't. I think he definitely was misquoting Henry V, but it was badly, because it only just occurred to me that that's what it was. But it was just like, of course I'm not. Who would give their life and every day from now till the end of their life on their deathbed to say, I voted for Lawrence Fox? I've just said it, see? I voted for Lawrence Fox. I didn't vote for Lawrence Fox. Of course I didn't vote for Lawrence Fox, but I did say it anyway. Tell anyone. Yeah, I voted for Lawrence Fox. 47,000 people did. Somebody did. That's quite a lot of people. So he should be proud of himself, and then just don't do it again. If he doesn't do it again, we'll forgive him. It's like, well, you've got that out of your system. That's good. That's good. Or it's fine. That's fine. Just a personal vendetta against somebody that's never done anything to me. There's no reason to not like him. It's just annoyance, really. Annoyance for him being stupid and saying horrible things about Meghan Markle. Is it Meghan Markle? No, because it's Meghan Windsor. No, what are they called now? Battenberg. No, not Battenberg. What are they called? Mountbatten. They were Battenbergs, like the cakes, but now they're Mountbattens. Yes. Meghan Mountbatten. I think she still is Meghan Markle, though, isn't she? She kept her professional name, so she can go back to Suits. Go back to Suits! Meghan Markle, please, I'd like to see you in Suits. Yeah, I like Meghan Markle, so, yeah, I like them. Meghan and Henry, yes, exactly. Yes, I like her, and he said horrible things about her, so now I have found a reason. So I've justified everything. He was horrible about her, and I like her. She's fine. I've got nothing against her, and she's nice. So now I've remembered another reason why I didn't like him. That's cool. Because he's mean and horrible. And now I'm mean and horrible too. But that's fine, because he was horrible to somebody that I liked. I don't know her either. I've got no reason to take sides in this issue. Just thought that she was better than him. That's all. Anyway, on that note. I've just got into a massive hole with this, haven't I? Anyway, I like her, don't like him. The end. Yeah. Alright then, I'll see you next week with more of the same nonsense. If you can stand it. Thank you, the 4 people that have liked this. It's heartening. It's heartening.